So we're just going to get right into it, and in this video we're going to be actually showing you how to install WordPress. But before we actually install WordPress, we have to talk about a few things. Namely, what are the tools that we'll need to start a website, how do we pick a web hosting account, and third, actually showing you how to install WordPress. So what do we need to actually start a website? And we really only need three things. It's actually quite simple. One being a domain name. Two, we'll need a hosting account to host our files and our themes, things like that. And third, we'll need some type of web design software, and that's going to be WordPress. And so to start it off, the first thing, the domain name, what are going to be the costs, is around $12 per year. Secondly, the hosting account is going to be hosted through HostGator, although you can choose whichever hosting account you want or hosting company that you want. But that's going to cost around $4 a month with HostGator using the coupon code WP for all 25. We were able to save you guys a few extra dollars. And third, we're going to be using WordPress to actually design our websites, and that's going to be absolutely free. And so in regards to HostGator, why are we actually choosing HostGator? In our opinion, it's very reliable, it's affordable, and it has great customer support. And that's one thing that you need to look for in a hosting company, simply because you may have questions along the way. And we personally actually use it to host our website, so that's why we definitely trust HostGator. So the first thing that we're going to do is head on over to HostGator, and we're going to see a couple of things which are staggered well by price category, and I'll kind of explain them along the way. So there's three major options, and that's a shared hosting, we have a reseller plan, a VPS, and a dedicated server. And for our purposes, I won't really talk about the last three, but we're going to be using a shared hosting plan, which simply means multiple site owners share the same server. And it's designed for sites with less traffic, and it's designed to save us money. And so I'd say if your website has about or less than 100,000 visitors per month, a shared hosting plan would be perfect. So let's just click on the shared one and we'll start with that. Now we're going to see three other plans, and a quick breakdown of what each of these is that a hatchling is for hosting one individual website, and the baby plan allows us to host an unlimited number of websites, and the business plan gives us an additional security and a phone number, which would be beneficial if you're creating an e-commerce website. But for most of us, the hatchling plan should be just fine since we're only creating one website. And I'm going to go through this next page fairly quickly since most of it is just filling out our credit card and our details, but I'll highlight the most important parts. And the first box is for us to register our domain name. And I did some research beforehand, and wpforalltv.com was available, so we'll go with that. One thing to note here is the billing cycle, and it's very beneficial, in my opinion, to sign up for a longer term because, as you can see, the price is actually significantly cheaper when you commit for a longer term. But this is entirely up to you, depending on your finances and whatnot. And finally, be sure to enter in the coupon code here, which was WP for all 25, and that's going to save you 25% off, so it's not a bad deal. And finally, when everything's done, just create the account, and you should receive an email with your account details very shortly. So after we submit our information, we're going to go over to our email. It's going to take a little bit while, but we're going to get an email from hostgator.com. And so what we're going to be looking for is we're going to hold on to this email for sure, but we're going to be looking for the control panel URL. So we're going to just open that up. And it's going to ask us for our login information. It's going to have our username, which we set up before. And it's also going to have our password, which we also set up, but I think that the password for this one is going to be this one right here. It's going to be this password. It's just something that they made up themselves for temporary use at least. And so we're just going to log in. So after we logged in, we're going to go down and we're going to find something called a quick install or a one-click install, right? And that's going to be right here in the software and services. And we're going to click install right here. And we're going to be using WordPress. So we're going to click WordPress right there. So we're just going to click continue. We'll only have one domain right there. And so we're just going to put in our email and all that contact information. We're going to put whatever we want our blog title to be, whatever we want our admin user, and just a first and last name. You can put your own first and last name. It's entirely up to you, right? And we're just going to click install now. And now once this has finished installing, we're going to see that there's a couple more pieces of information that we definitely need to write down. And that's the admin area and our username and password, right? And so just to talk very briefly, the admin area is simply always going to be our domain name / wp-admin. Our username is going to be whatever we entered in our admin user. And our password is going to be generated by the quick install. Alright, so now that we actually have opened up our backend of WordPress, or our WordPress login area, we're going to see something like this, which has the typical WordPress logo, the username, and the password. So all we're going to do is copy over the username and also copy over the temporary password, and we can change this later. And when we log in, what we're logging into is the backend of WordPress. And so now that we saw that message, now we know that WordPress is in fact successfully installed.